Okay, so this is a video. I watched the full live of this lady who was really upset at me. So, this is a full photo I'm showing here of this individual. This lady was trying to claim I was fake. This is how I do my makeup: eyeliner, lipstick, some foundation. This lady, I don't even know what's on her face. It's like a whole, like, painting. She's telling me I'm fake. I'm like, well, I don't really see how that is. Well, anyway, I wanted to actually talk more on other issues, not just like photos and stuff like that. Because that's kind of like, it's a lame issue when we're talking about how we look, but I felt like this is specifically having to do with a lot of colorism that I experience personally. And, on the screen is a very creepy situation that I experience, basically. I always got a very weird vibe from this lady. It's like if the reason why, is because I don't watch her much, and the only reason I watched her was kind of like because I was looking at first for information on like the phone sex industry. I'm interested in that. I've said that several times here. And on top of it, I like some things she said on colorism because we're similar complexions. Therefore, I can understand some experiences, basically. And, to me, it was almost like I think I watched one video of hers with phone sex, and then I watched her other videos. And those were on swirling and divesting. And that was when I decided to subscribe to her. Because I was like, oh, that's nice, You had the part where, you were talking about the marketing for phone sets and all that stuff. And then you had the other part with basically having an interest in, divestment and swirling, right? So to me, I was like, well, I like that, And so I was like, okay. I comment, say, I like your channel and things of that nature. I basically subscribed to her. Well, what happened really crazy after that was this lady kept messaging me all the time for how long? I don't know. It was like days. I kept seeing her like in my notifications and stuff. And I would respond, but I mean like she would overly respond, like respond to all the comments I made in her videos. And then she went over to my side and started commenting on mine. She even said she wanted to do a live with me and all sorts of weird stuff. And I was like hesitant because, she was weird because I was like, I just was commenting on your video and I just thought it was a good video. I wasn't like anything really crazy, like you thinking like that I, have an interest in your content. I did, but not to the extreme that she kept following me. So after a while, I did stop watching her videos a bit because, I'm not the type that's into black men. She kept talking about Kevin Samuels. I talk about Kevin Samuels maybe 3 videos out of hundreds of videos that I've made. And the reason why is because Kevin Samuels focuses on black men. And so since Kevin Samuels focuses on black men, I'm not very interested. I'm not against black men. It's just like I'm not a black man, and I'm not attracted to black men. I don't have any black sons. My father isn't even black, or wasn't even black. So, I mean, I have no connection. And I mean, there's nothing against people who are into that. I make no judgment on anybody, being completely honest. But anyway, eventually, she even stalked me to basically my Instagram to some point. And, she said she followed me, I followed her, and I kind of just ignored her from there because I don't really go on my Instagram and I don't really see the use in Instagram. I know I just talked in my last video about Instagram and things of that nature. And it's like, you know, I guess I will get into it, but I really don't get on my Instagram. So I don't really pay attention to what people say or anything like that. Um, I think a major problem when I was on her channel and when I would comment on her channel was not anything I specifically said. I think it was more other things. Um, for one, I noticed the first thing reacting and commenting to her page that she started focusing on my looks, which was weird. I mean, we were talking about divesting and swirling, and then you start talking about my looks. Like, I don't like that because I feel like, oh no, like, I've had it too many times where people focus too much on my looks, and then the next thing you know, they're just being really negative and angry and having some kind of issue. This is why, to me, I'd rather people not comment on my looks. I'd rather people not say anything about my looks. I really rather not. Because it's like, if you're in that mode, something is wrong, I think, with you. You're a vain person or you're a shallow person. And then you're going to try and implement that on me. And, I'm not going to be really into that. I guess I'm more of a analytical and a deeper minded person. I have more depth, I guess you could say. But a major thing was some of the comments that were made. You could see how some people on her page reacted to her. Like, I've had it myself, sometimes. That time I didn't, but where they were attacking her, saying that she had a weave, and they were they were attacking her basically. And for me, what I got when I was on her page was specifically people like asking for my Instagram, or another time I was literally talking about her topic of women being basically whores. And I chimed in, was explaining that I'm selective, but in the way I'm selective, it's different than a lot of other women. It's not specifically to money or anything of that nature. It was basically saying that I would never have sex with certain men. And I think that made it seem like I was being selective more than other women, but I wasn't trying to make that perspective or make other people feel badly about that. I was just explaining my sexuality. Um, and on this channel, I talk a lot about my sexuality. It's like one of the main things I talk about on this channel. Um, so, obviously, in general, I will talk about my sexuality on other platforms as well, whenever asked, basically. anyway, so I think a major thing was for me, I notice that when I have certain attention from black men that other women don't get and are told that they're not wanted, that they get a little bit more triggered. This is why I don't hang around mammy sections. Because when you hang around mammy sections, they get triggered by that. Because I think they're not they don't feel they're wanted as much or whatever. Maybe they feel like they've been told they were used, or they've been told different things. And for me personally, those kinds of things, one, they don't affect me because care what other I don't care what black men think, and so nothing really affects me. And then generally, especially when people meet me and know me, they always know I'm one of those kind of reclusive type of people. Um, so I'm not really the type who's like all out there and, like with different types of people and things of that nature. Anyway, I wanted to talk about some issues pertaining to also the focus on black men in situations like this. I feel like when people have children with black men and they've been with black men, of course they rely on black men. They want black men to support them. They need black men to support them because they feel like they've gone through all this with black men that now they feel like the only way to redeem themselves is to, find a good black man. And so they still care to some extent what black men do. And so then it still triggers them when black men have attention or give attention to someone, or don't give attention to them, or tell them they're not wanted, which is not right. And I feel sorry for people who, want a specific man and, are not specifically wanted by that specific man. But I feel like many of the time when these kinds of situations happen, it's almost like people tend to have a situation where they automatically subjugate themselves because of some negative qualities that they feel they have without you even subjugating them. Therefore, if someone feels under you, you do not want to interact with them because they will try to take you down, they will try to tear you apart, they will try to be angry at you, they will try to have malice against you because they want you on their level. Now, this is kind of going into what I was saying about colorism in the first place. So, to me, I always talk about how colorism works for me, not really where dark skinned women hate me, and it's not really like light skinned women feel better than me. It's like this. Now, for me, it's like kind of like the women that are my color are the worst to me. I've always had a sense of I can't trust you. The reason I always am like I can't trust you is because there's so many insecure ones that are my complexion that have this sense of, competition. And I get tired of the competition thing. It's always like to me weird because it's like, why are we competing just because we look similar? Even though, you know, you might appeal to someone in a different style, in a different beauty than I do. Just because we're the same skin tone doesn't mean we have the same features or the same body type or the same personalities or the same socioeconomic status. So, I mean, like, if we are different people, obviously we will appeal to different types of people. When people only focus on their outer appearance, like I said earlier, it kind of implies that you don't have much of a personality. You don't really have substance within. And so, I mean, to me, it's like if you can only see my shell, my physical appearance, I don't feel you're going to actually judge me for me as a person. Because, like, I'm a small, petite girl. Some people would think I'm feminine. Some people would think, I like certain things or have come from a certain type of area just off of my appearance. But all of that would be wrong because it's just going on my appearance. So to me, it's like you never really understand me, know me, or anything. Don't talk to me, kind of thing. I don't know. That's just how I am. I don't like people who judge by appearance. But, with colorism, that's mainly my problem. Is that, when we're talking about competition, it goes in with, people who are similar to you. And that's the main thing. It's like often people will talk about like who's lighter than who and who's got hair like this or who's got features like this. And that's a major thing for me with colorism. Like people similar to my color often have an issue with my facial features because you see a lot of people who are black and lighter skinned will try their best when they believe in the colorism ideas of lighter is better. They will try to make their skin lighter. They will try to make their features more narrow, more snatched. They will try to make their hair curlier or straight or blonde, or they will wear contacts, for example, if they're really going extreme in on it. I always think going extreme is kind of like stupid because, I mean, like, especially if you're not light skinned and you're just caramel, like, blue eye contacts, I would never walk outside with blue eye contacts. But that's just me. Um, so, when they believe in those kinds of ideas, there's a problem with me because I do not really care about skin tone. I don't care about hair texture. And my features, my facial features, are just the way they are. And so I've always been treated differently based off my facial features. And it's not like anything I can really do about that. But I've gotten anger off of them from people who are trying to do different things. And then I've gotten some people who, just treat me like I'm like different or something. Like, you just don't really belong. And personally, to me, it's kind of like, I've always been of the mentality that I wish I just look like everybody else, and I just wish I was just like accepted as everybody else. Most of the time, I never feel like with women that are my complexion, like I'm accepted like everyone else. I always feel like someone's got something against my facial features or my height or my size or the way I talk or something is always off. So for me, it's just like, you know, I never really feel I fit in because of my facial features. And I've always wished I looked different because of it. There's this video Danielle Virgo, I think, makes on colorism, and she talks about her eye color and how she, for the longest time, wanted her eye color to be like other Black Americans, so then she could fit in. Um, Now, I mean, in her case, it was different, but I was just like, for me, a lot of the time I've always felt like I just want to look like everyone else so I can fit in. I don't care if that's less attractive or more attractive or the same attractiveness. Sometimes attractiveness isn't really the important thing to me, it's relatability, you know? But generally for me, that has been a main problem for colorism. I never feel like women my color can really relate to me. I feel like there's always a lot of anger from the ones that are really insecure. And yeah, I just feel like they generally are the ones who always are trying to tear you apart and attack you and all this stuff. And it's like, I've never experienced that extreme from dark skinned Black women. Now, I can't say always. Sometimes when the lighting is wrong or something of that nature where people don't like my, I guess I'm a little too light for them or whatever, then sometimes there's a problem. So I, like I said, I've been accused of not of looking like too light or whatever or things of that nature where like people start accusing you of bleaching and all that stuff. So I mean, to me, I do get that response, but in real life, being completely honest, I don't get that from dark skinned Black women. They are the nicest, honestly, when it comes to that. But it depends. Some people, they kind of like just mind their own thing and they're not really like, you know, um, really partial to you, but they're just kind of like they stay away from you. I don't know if that's because of my appearance or what it is. But anyway, when people talk about colorism, it's just like I don't really experience it specifically from that are very different from me. I generally experience it from people who are similar to me. And that's why I always say there's really no sense of light skin privilege or anything of that nature because I always am trying to show how, people are always trying to be like, oh, who's the lightest? Oh, who's the lightest? And all this stuff, and they're always trying to compete with each other. And I mean, we do that within our complexion categories, light brown skin people, light skin people, brown skin people, and so forth. But to me, it's a silly game to fight over. And I've said this a million times. It's a silly game to fight over because we're all going to lose at the end. Because white people are the whitest and they're the lightest. So fighting over that is just stupid. Another thing I wanted to point out was that's why I try to not talk about basically situations where men are harassing me or why I don't want black men, even though black men have, you know, shown interest in me since I was at least 17. That's why I don't like to talk about it too much because I'm always concerned about who is triggered by it and who isn't. When you go into divested spaces, you're hoping that the person is not triggered by you talking about how you were always attracted to white men and you were naturally just not attracted to black men. And even though it was just natural, you know, everybody attacked you for it, including black women, even black mammies, especially. That's what I'm talking about. Not really divested, obviously. Yeah, but everyone attacks you for it or gets triggered by it. And in this case, I talked a lot about how I was always trying to avoid black men and how black men always tried to harass me. For me, I didn't know that that would trigger people to be uncomfortable with my experience. And a major reason why this can cause someone problems is because if they're unwanted by something that they want and someone else is complaining about being wanted by the thing that they want, it's going to trigger them, even if you don't want that dark skinned black man. And so that's why it's hard for me to interact with different people because I don't know who's the one who's going to be all upset that I don't have a preference towards dark skinned black men, and dark skinned black men have harassed me since I was 20. Since I was 20, it was harassment. I've been making police reports. And I've had worse situations, really bad situations for 7 years. So, you know, I think a part of that comes into play here because the main people who I notice who get triggered by me talking about black men harassing me are women around my complexion. Women who look like me, at least in color. Not facially. I mean, you could see. It's a black person with hair and eyes and things of that nature. But I'm just saying, as far as skin tone. Um, my point is that I don't personally experience a lot of that anger from. I don't experience that anger really from, you know, dark skinned black women as much. I don't experience that type of anger from light skinned women as much. When I say light skinned women, I mean true light skinned women, not reds like me or light brown skinned. Like, no, I'm not talking about people who put bright lights on them to hopefully look lighter skinned or a whole bunch of makeup to look lighter skinned. I'm talking about actual true yellow bones. Um, so to me, I think a major thing is, like I said, the problem is, you know, the competition for black men's attention, and also another thing is for me is sometimes I will talk about, how black men sometimes ask you what you're mixed with before they ask you, you know, what your name is. And that can trigger people too because they may feel like they're treated more like a black woman, you know, even though, they're lighter skinned. And I don't really care. I honestly have always struggled with that problem personally because it's always been like this. People have always, who were like black men, would always ask that, and I would always feel very uncomfortable because my mother taught me as a black woman. My father, I was taught, was a black man. I didn't learn he was mixed race until I was 19. I got these questions when I was 17. So for me, it was kind of like, you know, I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't. I didn't really understand. To me, it was kind of like my mother taught me that I was black. Nobody taught me that anyone was going to ask me weird questions like that on the regular, you know. And for some reason, some black people don't know to not ask other black people that question. So I understand sometimes people are triggered by that, especially when they look like this, where they're trying so hard to look, I guess, mixed or whatever. And I guess they get upset because it's like, how can you just, not really care and walk outside and people ask those questions and treat you a certain way and you get treated like crap? I don't really think it has to do with color or anything of that nature. It probably has more to do with um, the type of person you grew up as. Like, for example, there's a lot of black women who come from lower class households, um, and maybe they are groomed a different way. For me, I was groomed not to really look to black men. In fact, that would be so weird if my mother ever. I don't think my mother ever pictured me with a black man. My mother's always said that, to prefer white men, and she did that by putting me in an environment with white people. And so that's how I was basically conditioned through my environment to prefer white men. Not out of anger, not out of hate, not out of spite, out of pure attraction to white men. That's it. I don't care why other people do what they do. I don't. I don't care why someone swirls or divests or claims they're going to divest or whatever. Like, to me, I'm like, if you want to do that or if you don't want to do that, that's up to you and your body, okay? I have nothing to do with that. I know what I like, I know what I'm attracted to, and that's all I'm concerned about. Now, with all that said, I don't think that this is specifically to just light skinned women. I'm not even saying light skinned women if you listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying light brown skinned women. Um, like I said, I've had experiences with very light skinned women where it's not quite like that. You can see like they're acting the way they should, basically, in my view. Like, I think that people who are light skinned should be proud of their light skin. I do. I think that they should think that that's the way they're supposed to be. And they're perfect the way they are. Just like I think I'm perfect the way I am. And just like I think dark skinned people are perfect the way they are. I know people always say in the comments, no, you don't think you're perfect the way you are. Why else are you always trying to darken your skin or trying to look like a dark skinned black woman? But then again, like I said in the other video, I have changed my skin tone through tanning anyway. So, I mean, like, me darkening my photos doesn't mean I think that that's better, right? For me, I mean, it's a different situation when your skin can change colors. I don't know. But I don't think confident, women that are like my complexion, that are like light brown, are like this. At least in my experience, I've seen sometimes with lighter brown skinned women, when they're comfortable with themselves, when they're actually trying to be their best selves, and they're not concerned or angry about other people possibly being better than them, they don't have that issue. They don't have that concern. You know, they don't get upset that a woman has men that are attracted to her because she's doing her best thing and she's getting her own because, positive vibes rub off on other people. So basically, when you're at your best, you're attracting basically your best. So you should be content with what you have. Oh, shoot. Sorry about that. Laptop shut down. Yeah, I need to go to sleep soon, though. Yeah, when I do these lives like this, I get tired sometimes. Sorry. But, what I was just basically saying was, oh, yeah, with colorism, like I said, there's often the main people I find being jealous or having problems are the ones my color. And that's why I always am looking at them like, oh no, like if a content creator is my color, tread lightly, basically. In this case, it's not like I could have treaded lightly because the person was literally following me. So, I mean, like, she was following me to my channel. I'm just commenting under her page, and she's following me to my channel. She's following me to Instagram. I'm following her back because she asked me to. So, in this case, I don't think I could have. But many of the time with women my color, I do try to stay a bit away. I don't try to be around them too much. I might comment here and there, I've always commented, and usually it doesn't trigger them. But I guess maybe my photo could trigger some people, especially with what I'm saying. Yeah, I guess. I just, honestly, when I talk about my experiences, I want someone to relate. That's what I really want. I just want someone to relate to. And, I actually did used to relate to one content creator. She happened to be a similar complexion to me, too. I don't think that was why, though. But when it comes to divesting and black men, I kind of related to her when it came to the harassment side of it. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just, I find it like weird with colorism stories. Nobody really ever talks about people of your own complexion freaking out over you, or, having some kind of issue with you, like trying to talk crap about you, trying to attack your looks, try and compete to try and see who's lightest skinned or lighter skinned, between two, I guess you could say lighter, or whatever, these things people never really talk about. They talk about light versus dark, but they don't actually talk about the people that mirror your image. They just don't. The reason they don't talk about those people is because they feel like, I think, they should be able to relate to each other. But the thing is, no one has time to relate to anyone when they're too busy trying to get attention from black men. And that's another thing with the content creator I'm talking about. At the end, we were actually talking to this other black man, and he was talking about how divestors who were basically like her, angry at black men and basically trying to get a reaction out of black men to their divestment or swirling. He was saying how he was more respectful towards someone who did not have any issue with black men, but just were naturally attracted to them. And, she was trying in that conversation to try and please him or appeal to him by saying, oh, I'm attracted to all races or something. Which was just like, from my point of view, it's like, I don't try to appeal to anyone. I don't care if it is something that they're okay with or if they're not okay with. I mean, it's not their vagina that gets to be all beat up. So, I mean, why would I care if they are okay with what I do with my personal life and personal body? And the fact that someone cares what black men thinks means, you basically are still into them. Because you still care about what they think. Why would you care what they think when, you care what they think as far as a job interview or as far as being a potential partner implies you're still interested in them, And, the whole thing that started this whole problem with this content creator, well, I think what innately called it was her seeing me, which was like, I hate people like that because it's like, you're upset at looking at me. I don't know what to do with you. I mean, I try to make my photos more appealing to people so then they don't freak out. Because every time I've ever shown people my photos, they always get mad like that. Not everyone, but I'm saying people like that. And, you know, from my perspective, it's just like, what when it started out being a problem was when I wasn't really sure if, the platform this person was trying to make was for black men who were better or white men. And she kept saying that she was attracted to all races, and, like she was talking about black people who were of higher class, and arranged marriage and all that stuff. So I was kind of like thinking she was talking about black people still. And then obviously she just like freaked out because there was like misinformation. But I mean, like when you are trying to half step things, no one's going to understand what you're doing in those regards. But I mean, freaking out over other people just in a, sense of their skin tone and, how they look on pictures, that's not specific to anything about what you do in your personal life. That's specific to how you feel when you look at me. And I already knew, like I said, that the person had an issue looking at me because they kept saying things about how I looked. That's why, like I said, I don't like compliments. I don't like insults, obviously. I just don't like anyone talking about my looks because if you're talking about them, I feel like something's up. Now, I'm not saying if we're just talking about a certain topic on how I look and someone says I look nice, that's a different story. But if you're just randomly bringing this up, then I'm going to think there's an issue at hand. And I know maybe that might seem odd to some people, but I mean, if you had lived my life where, anytime you experience somebody who might give you a compliment, they, next second, they're going to try and attack you. Then you're going to be like, oh, keep those fucking compliments away from me. Sorry. Stuttering. A little nervous. And at the end, it's just kind of like, even if you're nice to people like this, even if you're friendly to them, I tried my best. I mean, I think with this person, I tried my best. Even if I tried to pretend I was a lesbian, I don't think it would have worked. I mean, sometimes with people like this, I try my best to be like the nicest, try to be like, try to put them on the biggest, highest pedestal that you can, and try to act like they're the most important and the best type of person that you've ever met. They're still going to hate you because in reality, they hate themselves and feel ugly. And it's a personal issue. You can't fix it. You can't make them be okay with you because they're just not okay with themselves. And the thing is, the people who are the most jealous are the ones who are always going to call you fake. But the funniest part of this is the fact that the same people who will call you fake will be the most fake people. Like they'll have breast implants, some kind of plastic surgery, a whole fake face where I don't even know all the makeups that are on your face, eye contacts, blonde fake wig or whatever's on your head. I mean, you'll have like a whole new identity thing going on there, and you'll be calling other people fake because they woke up and brushed their teeth. I mean, they'll come up with anything, to claim that people are fake, to put other people down. But in reality, like, nothing is real with them. And it's just weird when people do that, because it's like, to me, it's like, why would you be completely fake where everyone can see and then claim other people are fake? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And the most annoying thing about women who complain about Kevin Samuels is the big desire for appreciation, black male appreciation. That's the main reason people complain about Kevin Samuels. I'm not saying every time, but I'm saying most of the time when people focus on Kevin Samuels, it's because they want appreciation, they want validation from black men. And from my perspective, it's like, I don't want validation from them. That's the main thing I don't want. I want, if anything, to be put down into the sewer and flushed. I do not want black men. I want them to see me as like the lowest thing ever. Do not think of me in any capacity. Think of me like a dude, okay? I have no interest. I don't want to be seen as, oh, something that you want or anything. No, you don't want me. I don't want you. And this is how it's supposed to be. So, I mean, that's why channels like Kevin Samuels don't bother me in one anyway. I don't even focus on what he says. I've made a couple videos because his stuff goes viral. And anytime something goes viral, I usually make a video on it. I do. Like, and one time somebody, for some reason, kept trying to bring me into talking about Kevin Samuels because I don't know why they made me do that, actually. They were trying to complain about something, so I made a video, I think. It was like my first one, I think, on Kevin Samuels. But anyway, like, I understand, some of the stuff he does or whatever, people have to say something because it's, like, viral. But I'm just saying that when people are obsessed with him, and they're obsessed with the manosphere, it's because they're still a part of the manosphere. They still want to suck the manosphere's dick, basically. So to speak. And personally, for me, I just don't. So, I mean, like, my thoughts on black men and their penises. And we don't need to be attacking anybody today. Even in this video talking about this content creator, I understand, I mean, I'm not saying the most positive things here, but that's only in response to her, and rightfully so. I mean, I should have a right to defend myself. But I mean, like, it's not supposed to be, this video isn't supposed to be completely, like, negative or anything of that nature. So, anyway, I have one more thing to say and I'm going to go to sleep. This kind of content pushes me away from people like that because, it's Like, I never looked to black men for anything. And so when people do that, I don't know that thinking. I don't know that thought process. This is not why I come to any platform. I come to a platform because I'm not interested in, black men. And that's how I am maneuvering in the black community. Well, when I interact with black people, that is. My struggles as a person who swirls and divests honestly and openly with no regret. That's what I mainly want to see when I go on different platforms. I don't wish to be, you know, focusing on what black men do, other than the fact that black men are being violent or trying to harass me. Like, when I say violent, I mean violent towards me or harassing me. You understand, the main concern is for my own health and safety. That's the only time I am concerned with black men. So, yeah, that's basically all I have to say on that. There's a little more that I want to say, but I can't really think of it. I would say that all in all, I think it gets really annoying with black women in certain spaces when they're insecure like this. When they're trying so hard to be something they're not. And trying so hard to be as light as they can. Like, this lady, she's caramel, but she wishes she was like yellow. And it's sad, you know? Because when they have this mentality, they always feel insecure about their looks because they're never proud of who they truly look like. This is why, for me, it's easier to interact with people who are white sometimes. And that's not to say white women are better than black women. It's not. It's just to say people want to be around people who are secure with themselves and not angry at you because you look a certain way and you can't change how you look. With that in mind, I'm obviously not bashing black women or light-skinned women. Like I said, have had plenty times with dark-skinned black women and got along totally fine. In fact, most of my experiences are that way with dark-skinned black women and lighter-skinned black women. My main thing is when the woman looks similar to me, there's a problem, you know. So, that's all I really have to say on that. I just wish people could love themselves and not judge other people for how they look, because no one can help how they look. I can't help how I look. I can't help that my experiences are the way they are. I can't help that people respond to me a certain way. Alright, I think that's all I have to say on this video. I finally relaxed. I was kind of tense in this video, but yeah, guess I'm done. Well, thanks for watching. Bye.